Thank you, Majority Leader Schumer. Chuck, you've been a good friend a long, long time. And Joe, I never had a doubt. Joe had an operation on his shoulder. I just want you to know it wasn't because of anything we did. He's in great shape. And our whip, Mr. Clyburn, you're amazing.
Just as a matter of history, just a little trivia, more than trivia, but this is like historic because every member in the House and every member in the Senate, Democratic member in the House, Democratic member in the Senate, voted for this legislation.
Madam Speaker, I haven't watched under this leadership. A Democrat-voted proxy wasn't even in America. So I wondered, were they in another country to get health care? Were they sick? No. They were in France at a wedding. When they phoned that vote in, I wasn't quite sure. Do you think at the wedding, the member was reading the bill on the phone? So that member knew how to vote? Because I'm not sure it came through committee. I don't know how much debate they had on this because the Senate did this bill. What a disgrace. I urge all my colleagues to reject this out-of-touch bill. Reject the crushing new taxes. Reject the ballooning of government. Reject the spending of things that we don't need with money we don't have.
It's called the Inflation Reduction Act, but the Congressional Budget Office, which is nonpartisan, said that there would be a negligible impact on inflation this year and barely impact inflation at all next year. I mean, isn't it almost Orwellian? How can you call it Inflation Reduction Act when the nonpartisan experts say it's not going to?
So I appreciate that. I appreciate the question. We've actually addressed the CBO. It was the top line number. There's more in there that shows that it will have the money remember how we're doing this too. It's making sure that billionaires in corporate America are paying their fair share, making sure that that the tax code is a little bit more fair. And so when you do that, when you put it in its totality, you will see that it will bring down, lower the deficit, which will help fight inflation.
Madam Speaker, I would respect the other side of the aisle much greater if they would at least do exactly what Secretary Yellen did. Apologize for your mistake and change course. Don't double down. Don't make the same mistake 3-4 times like you're going to do today. At the very least, if you're going to vote yes, do it in person. Do it in person. Read the bill. Put it through committee. Madam Speaker, I've watched this body take on big issues. We've got some of the biggest issues before us today, and you continue to make it just a partisan action. One that even your side of the aisle has warned you against, but somehow you want to celebrate. A vote for this bill is a vote to help the well-connected get further and further ahead, while leaving the needs of hardworking American families behind. Yet you could be forgiven for not understanding the gravity of today's vote. For such a supposedly historic occasion, few Democrats even bothered to show up. Look around this chamber, Madam Speaker. The floor is nearly empty. If Democrats really, truthfully want to raise your taxes on Americans during a recession, that's their choice. That's the power they have. They've proven it time and again, and they will do it. The very least you could do, Madam Speaker, is show up in person if you're going to vote yes. Show up in person to the American public. And for those that chant, yes, gasoline is lower than it was 2 years ago. Yes, the border is safer than it was 2 years ago. Don't say it when the cameras are off. Don't say it when people can't see who's saying it. Go to the mics. If you believe it, go to the mics and say it. Better yet, tell your district about it because they know differently. America knows differently. But if you want to vote yes, you should have the courage and the decency to show up and do that in person. Yet, Madam Speaker, Speaker Pelosi extended proxy voting again on Wednesday, allowing Democrats to hide their faces and vote to take your money from the comfort of their summer vacation. Absolute power corrupts absolute. Famous quote. There's lots of lessons people learn. And normally, the lesson that you learn the most is when you cause the most pain. I guess creating inflation you haven't had in 41 years, creating shortages when there's no baby formula, gas prices that we haven't seen since Jimmy Carter was in office, a border that's wide open